Fuad here, back on Behind the Gloves with another interview. I'm joined by the one and only Eddie Hearn here in New York. First of all, how are you?
How'd you get out here?
I flew out here. How'd you? So, I'm doing bits by the looks of it because they've sent me out to New York.
Good. Congrats.
Cheers. Let's talk about the fight straight away. Main event, Devin Haney against Abdul-Aziz. Is this the first unbeaten fighter he's faced, I'm guessing?
Possibly, yeah. Good question. It's certainly the biggest test of his career by a long way. I'm so excited because I think Devin Haney is the real deal. But you only find out when they're in these kind of level fights. Abdul-Aziz and his team, as you heard, really believe they can win this fight. He's an unbeaten Russian, ranked number 2 with the WBC. It's for the interim world title. This is going to tell us if he's ready. You know, the winner is mandatory for Lomachenko, probably the toughest fight in world boxing. But they're the fights that Devin Haney wants, and I believe he's a superstar. I believe those kind of fighters rise to the occasion when all the pressure's on, when all the hype's been sort of awarded to them. That's when they perform their best, and I think that's what you're going to see from Devin.
You've had two fighters go against Lomachenko now, both who you've believed, in fairness, to causing problems. Say Devin comes through this fight and he is next in line to face Lomachenko. How realistic is that win? Because we've seen Lomachenko time and time again.
It's going to take a really special fighter to beat Lomachenko.
You think Devin's the special fighter?
Maybe Devin's that guy. I believe Devin's a special fighter. I believe Crawler had a chance. He got dealt with. I believe Campbell had a chance. He did really, really well, but got beat. And I believe Devin Haney's going to have a chance because I back my guys, and I just believe that he has the freshness and the youth and almost that naivety to go in with no fear against Lomachenko. Sometimes when you face a great like Lomachenko, you're beaten before you get in the ring. That will never happen to Devin Haney because of his belief in himself. So this fight's going to tell us, that question should come on Friday night after the fight, if he's won, to see, because at the moment, the level in the opposition he's been facing compared to Lomachenko is so vast, and he bridges that gap on Friday night.
All right, same weekend, but the next day on Saturday night, Tyson Fury takes on Wallin. I don't think I've asked you this, but it's been a while, but what was your instant reaction to that fight being announced?
I think, I've given that fight plenty of stick. Do you know what it is? Your profile in boxing, because everybody's driving fighters, your profile can dip very quickly. So if you look at where Tyson Fury was after the Deontay Wilder fight last year compared to where he is now, he doesn't care, by the way. He's making a load of money to fight fights that he can't lose. But Bob Arum and Top Rank and ESPN should be caring because they're spending a lot of money on fights that do not drive subscription or ticket sales. And that's their job, just like it's my job. So when I do a fight that maybe doesn't work, Bob gives me loads of stick, so I'm going to fucking do the same. This fight is a shambles. You've got what some describe as the best heavyweight in the world, some call the lineal heavyweight champion in the world, selling 1,500 tickets in Las Vegas with a fight no one's even talking about. Liken that to Anthony Joshua, who, if he was fighting Otto Wallin, there'd be 20,000 people there and everyone would be talking about it. But guess what? Joshua doesn't take fights like that. And I wish people would give Joshua the credit that he consistently fought top 15 heavyweight guys, top 10 guys, fought his mandatories. If you look at his last, the fight since Klitschko, Takam, Joseph Parker, Povetkin, Ruiz, right? There's no easy, and even AJ saying to me now, God, everyone else gets away with it. Maybe I should just fight one of these guys, a Tom Schwartz, next time out. Sometimes you can get away with one. Getting away with two is greedy, and that's come back to bite him in the arse because it's not good for boxing. It's not. You see him in there, and Tyson's such a great character, great fighter, but it's almost like an exhibition. He comes in with his mask on yesterday and a Mexican headband. They're bluffing the public, and the public have woken up and they're not buying it. So until he gets in with Wilder, we'll see. But that's my thoughts, and I like Otto Wallin. He's a very nice guy. He just can't beat Tyson Fury, nor could Tom Schwartz. Why do you want to watch a fight like that?
He had a lot to say, as always, Tyson did on the heavyweight division. But recently he said that he'd be able to beat Usyk with one hand tied up.
Well, he can try. Well, what we'll do is we'll give Fury two hands in that fight. We don't need him to have one hand tied up. He can have both hands, and he can fight Alexander Usyk. Listen, Fury's a brilliant fighter, right? This is not a criticism of Fury as a fighter, as a personality. But it's just, he don't care because he's getting paid. But his profile is diminishing consistently. No one is watching. You know, this whole thing about, oh, he'll box on ESPN, oh, massive audience. He's fighting on the app that no one's watching because no one even knows the fight's happening. So how do you, they're not exactly building Fury Wilder 2. How big could that fight have been if they maybe had, I mean, at least with Wilder, at least, we think, maybe, he's fighting Luis Ortiz. That's a dangerous fight, you know. But Fury, on the other hand, he's getting paid a lot of money to fight fights no one wants to see.
And sticking on Deontay Wilder there as well. I noticed he releases something on sort of the week that AG...
Social media week, he releases news. But most of it's fake news. The first Ruiz fight, he came out, oh, I'd like to announce my fight with Luis Ortiz in September, blah, blah, blah. Guess what? We're in September now, and there's still no fight been announced. I'm sure it'll happen. But where's it going? Fox? Showtime? Surely they're not going to take every fighter off Showtime. Surely they can't take Deontay Wilder off Showtime, can they? That would be a real kick in the nuts. They've supported him for a long time. So that's going to be interesting to see what happens.
And just a final topic, obviously I can't not talk about the KSI versus Logan Paul.
That's the thing. What you just said there, I can't not talk about KSI Logan Paul, right? So on one hand it's like, oh, what's Eddie Hearn doing? On the other hand is, well, we can't not talk about KSI Logan Paul.
I'll give you props, it was the right decision.
It was a decision where, luckily, I'm thick-skinned enough to know, and if I actually cared what people thought and didn't trust my own instincts and my mind, I probably wouldn't have done it. But I can't ignore it. You know, KSI, Logan Paul did a video the other day. It was him pretending to DJ on some bottle tops. Did 9 million views on YouTube, right? That's just for a video. So if he's bringing the sport of boxing to that viewer space, if we're incorporating our fighters into those numbers and viewing space, now it's one thing saying, oh, you know, you watch my build-up show on Fox, it'll do 500,000, like the Errol Spence one the other day. Okay, what about if we done a build-up show with Devin Haney on Logan Paul's YouTube and he got 10 million views? They're still people. It's just a different environment now. It's a different way to digest content. And if we don't embrace that, we're idiots. So somehow, and the reason I've wanted to incorporate professional boxing into it is those 9 million, which will be millions more in terms of global views, we've got to show them the beauty of boxing. I don't want to do loads of white collar fights with guys like, you know, waving around. I want to show that new audience, I want to show them Devin Haney. I want to show them Billy Joe Saunders. So they actually go, do you know what? I love boxing. And if those 9 million YouTube fans are watching and we can keep 5% of them, that's 500,000 new fans to the sport of boxing. If you don't bring new fans into the sport, then you'll die. You'll become dormant.
Was it purely numbers though? Because after the first fight, you did have a lot to say about the styles and everything about the show.
Say mainly about the first fight. I didn't like it. I'm a hardcore boxing fan. Once I saw them fight, it weren't that bad. Like it was sort of decent. They're in shape. They know how to fight. But I said to them this time, I don't want head guards and 14-ounce gloves. No head guards, 10-ounce gloves. Someone will get knocked out this time. So respect the code, do it properly. But yeah, I'm a numbers man. Doesn't matter whether it's in a bank or whether it's online or whether it's subscriptions or whether it's ticket sales. That's what we do. And you can't ignore something that, but it's the biggest fight of the year. And I say that over AJ Ruiz. It's madness, but it's true. So rather than poo-poo it like I did last time, I've said, you know what, if you can't beat them, join them.
I'm having my first amateur fight this September, so no, I'm not saying I don't want to get on the card, but you should promote an amateur show then.
Yeah.
If the numbers matter, look, behind the gloves, we'll do it.
I don't know if your viewing numbers for your amateur fight will be as big as KSI Logan Paul. We'll see.
I'm joking. And finally as well, Billy Joe Saunders, Rosado put a picture of them two, you know, like a Photoshop picture. Is that a possibility on the card?
Possibly. I don't mind a Rosado fight. He always gives a great fight. Had a great fight with Selecki last time out. Again, he's that kind of guy who everybody knows, you know, he looks the part, he always brings a fight. So he's on a list of many for Billy Joe Saunders, who is more than likely going to box on that card on November the 9th at Staples Centre.
And finally, we're 2 weeks away. I know, I just keep remembering I've got another question. September 28th, Errol Spence, Sean Porter, just your prediction.
Really good fight. I predict an Errol Spence points victory.
And thank you for your time.
Hey Fight fans, it's Michelle Joy Phelps. If you haven't already subscribed to my YouTube channel, make sure you go ahead and do so by clicking this icon right here and hit the bell button so you can get notified every time we upload a new video. And we also have a free app available on iTunes and Google Play, so make sure you go and download that. Bye Fight fans.